back to my channel. My name is Carly Stevens and this is English Nerd. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you like this style of video, please do let me know in the comments, or if you prefer something else, I want to hear about that too. So in any case, get back to me. But what I'm going to do today is show that you can learn about writing from just about anyone and anything. Today, specifically, I'm going to talk about what I learned about writing from Gordon Ramsay. So I'm a big fan of Gordon Ramsay. I have watched almost all the Kitchen Nightmares, the 24 Hours to Hell and Back, his new show. I'm in the middle of watching MasterChef. I watched it was just one season, but he had a show trying to find the best restaurant in Britain. That was also really good. So I am a big fan. I know that he's not a writer, so you may have seen the title of this video and thought, well, that's sort of odd. Even though he isn't a writer, I think that there are still things that we as writers can learn from him and his craziness regarding cooking and such. So these are the 5 things that I have learned about writing from Gordon Ramsay. Number 1, nobody likes bland. If you've watched Gordon Ramsay shows for any length of time, you know that he's constantly saying, it's bland. It's so bland. I mean, every Kitchen Nightmares, it seems like there's something that's just so horribly bland that he just can't even deal with it, and he'll spit it out half the time. And this rings true for writing as well. If you have bland writing, people aren't going to go back for it, you know? Spice it up, give a little specificity, a little, spicy vocabulary or something at the very least. Make sure that your writing is not super generic, super bland. Have a twist that not everybody else has, or have a character that isn't a carbon copy of other characters. So that's the first thing that I learned from Gordon Ramsay. Don't be bland. Number 2, and this is possibly the most important thing, the most impactful thing to me personally, is that after watching Kitchen Nightmares and the Best Restaurant in Britain shows, I was struck by the difference between the owners of these failed, disgusting restaurants and the owners of these really excellent restaurants. One of the major differences, besides just that the food is better or worse, is that the people who own the poor restaurants are generally much more arrogant and less open to criticism. They think that they're doing things the right way, even though their food is disgusting and, kept for months and then microwaved and making everybody sick. But the people who have the best restaurants in Britain are the ones who are constantly open to criticism. They listen to the customers. They listen to Chef Ramsay's feedback. And so the second thing that I have learned from Gordon Ramsay about writing is that you should be open to constructive criticism. Obviously, if somebody is just being mean-spirited and saying, everything about this just sucks, then don't listen to that. That's just harmful. But if somebody has feedback about your writing, then listen to it. Take it seriously. Consider whether or not you should make a change based on that criticism. When I hired an editor for Firian Rising 2 months ago, I went carefully through and made changes based on almost every single suggestion that she had. There were still a couple of things that I, as the author, wanted to keep the same, or I knew what I was doing or what I was foreshadowing, so I kept those. But almost everything I did actually change based on her suggestions because I knew that her advice was valuable. So be open to constructive criticism, even though it is kind of painful when writing is such a personal thing. It can feel like a personal attack if people say, I hated that character, or whatever it may be. It's your job to figure out why they may have hated that character and make adjustments so that more people can appreciate what you do. Number 3 is to learn your craft. So my craft is writing, Gordon Ramsay's craft is cooking. But as I'm watching MasterChef, for instance, that's my latest binge-watching experience, there are things that you need to know in cooking, and there are things that you need to know in writing to be the very best. Now, can you make food without knowing these basics, and can it be edible and everything? Of course. Can you write without knowing all the grammar rules and without knowing plot structure? Of course you can. But if you want to really sell your stuff, if you want to get word of mouth buzz going on, then you need to know how to chop an onion. You need to know how to construct really vivid sentences and characters that are compelling. And so learn your craft. I have an English degree, I'm an English teacher, and I am still striving to learn about craft all the time and not assume that I know more than I do. So learn your craft. Make sure that you're not just thinking, oh yes, well, I've got it, but continually strive to improve through reading books on craft or YouTube channels like you are here. It's going to help you in the long run. Number 4. Gordon is always talking about the star of the dish. Make sure that the right thing is the star of the dish. Now, if I had a deeper voice or something, I would do a Gordon Ramsay impression, but I feel like it would come off strangely from me, so you can just kind of insert Gordon Ramsay here. Anyway, make sure that the right thing is the star of the dish. When there is a MasterChef challenge and the challenge is to create a chicken dish and make sure that the chicken is the star of the dish. You don't want it to be mostly mashed potatoes. You want it to be mostly chicken and then some other things. In writing, this translates to making sure that the protagonist's journey, their character arc, the main plot remains the main thing. That you don't run off after all these sparkly side stories, so much so that the actual story itself gets lost in all of the noise. So don't add more characters than you can handle. Some people can handle a lot of characters. Thank you, J.K. Rowling. I try to handle a lot of characters, but make sure that the main thing remains the main thing. What is the message that you're trying to get across? How are these characters going to change over the course of the story? If you have scenes that don't actually contribute to those things, they don't contribute to theme, they don't contribute to the character arcs or anything, then cut those scenes. Make sure that the main thing is the main thing, so you don't have a messed up dish where people don't know where to begin. And then finally, number 5, clean up or take pride in your work. One of the things that Gordon says in Kitchen Nightmares all the time is, do you not have any pride? Take some pride in what you're doing. Don't just send out things from the kitchen. Actually take pride in what you make and how you send it out there. So don't just say, okay, well, since I can publish anything I want on Kindle free of charge, and without having to go through a publisher, then I'll just send stuff out and that'll be that. You can, but people aren't going to come back for that level of story or that level of writing. People are going to come back for something that you take pride in, that you say, yes, I've worked hard at this, you've cleaned it up, you've gotten an editor, you've proofread it, you make sure that the cover is really professional and beautiful, as much as your budget allows, of course, if you are an indie like I am. But take some pride in your work. Don't just say, well, gotta send out something else from the figurative kitchen. Take pride in what you do and who you are and who these characters are and in what you're trying to say through them. So I think that if you are passionate about whatever it is, whether it be writing or some other sort of creative career, you can learn from everything, either positive or negative examples about what to do. So thank you, Gordon Ramsay, for teaching me these things, not only about cooking, because I'm really not that great a cook at all, but about taking my own craft and taking it to the next level. So I hope you liked this video. Like it if you like it, and make sure to subscribe for other English nerdy goodness. So who else have you learned from that might not make sense when you first say it? Who did you learn about writing from that wasn't a writer? Share your own experiences down in the comments. I'd love to hear those. Until next Monday, see you later.